I was just watching a video on social media, and the title of the video is "The Real Reason That Scientists Know That Reality is an Illusion," and it was about quantum. And what I love about that is that you don't listen to the title. How can possibly reality be an illusion? How can something real be unreal? But this is the reason, this is the way human mind deals with it. They go like, well, this is reality and this is an illusion. You can't have it both, right? And again, this comes back to the way your thinking will change when you practice the workbook of A Course in Miracles. Reality obviously is not illusion. If this is an illusion, this is not reality. That's how you gotta approach that. And again, this of course is what scientists has come to conclude in quantum, that indeed space-time seems to be an illusion. And of course, this is known for a long time by Eastern philosophy, and of course, it's what A Course in Miracles teaches, not? So for those of you who practice this, when you listen to these lines, you see how the human mind tries to deal with it. They go like, I'm here, so this has to be reality, but then you go like, it's an illusion. That's not how that works. If this is an illusion, this is not real. This is not reality. Therefore, if this is not reality, reality must be something not this. And this is the way you'll start thinking when you change your mind according to the new thought system that A Course in Miracles sets forth. I want to look at a couple of these ideas today. And as we read them, we let them sink in for a moment, because there's way more value in letting it sink in for a moment than reading large amounts of text and just cursory review them, but really nothing is really taking hold. You want these ideas to take hold in your mind. You want to start thinking in that uncompromising way that brings about that shift in thought, that then allows your mind to open up a vacancy where the light of truth can come in, if you like. Right? We call this enlightenment, because the light is there. It's like a spark, but it needs to be ignited by you allowing yourself to be undone in the way you think now. Can you see, the miracle simply corrects that? The miracle's obviously not under your control, right? But it happens despite you. And as that happens, the light in your mind gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Call it enlightenment, call it whatever you like. Huh? But as a result of that, you'll start to feel happy. You start to feel free. You start to feel at rest and at peace. And it's simply because you are making that particular way of thinking your own. And that way of thinking is in every aspect the opposite of the thinking of the world. Can you see? So that's why these ideas are so powerful and so useful. And then when you see a video like that on social media, you go like, well, but yeah, but that makes no sense. Reality cannot be an illusion, right? If this is an illusion, this is not reality. Huh? And you start thinking differently. You immediately catch that. So I just opened this up somewhere. Now listen to this. Everyone here has entered darkness, yet no one has entered it alone. And if that confuses you, you go like, well, wait a minute. Again, you go to that new way of thinking that you acquired. Not, you can't be alone, right? That's the way a human being thinks. That's the way the world thinks, that, oh, I'm alone. I'm alone here. No, you can't be alone here. The whole universe is literally all around you. Heaven is all around you. Everyone is all around you. The fact that you're not aware of them doesn't mean that you're alone. Can you see? But when you're separate, when you think you're separate, you do think you're alone. But everything is with you, correct? Nor need he, nor need he stay more than an instant. Now again, think about that for a second. What does that mean? I don't need to be staying more than an instant, right? I'm trapped here till, no. Um, the reason that you think you're trapped here is because of the way you think. Can you see? You need to free up your mind. And when that shift happens in your mind, when that shift in thought happens, you free yourself up in your mind, and you become free, and you see that the door was always open. Because the door is just beneath those thoughts that keeping you prisoned within your own mind. Can you see, there is a door there? He literally says it like that in the text. But those of you who have experienced it, that you can literally go through that and just you free suddenly your whole mind up. and you see that everything is right there. Can you see? Um, that's what he's talking about. Nor need he stay more than an instant, for he has come with heaven's help within him, ready to lead him out of darkness into light at any time. At any time, right? It's only free will. It doesn't mean you can establish the curriculum. It only means that you can elect to accept what you like at any time. I'm paraphrasing here, but this, of course, is how A Course in Miracles starts, not right? It's you can at any time say, I have no use for this anymore. I want to change my mind. I want to know who I am. I want to accept myself as I am created, not what I thought I was so far, right? Not the self identity, right, that I've made of myself. And that's a decision you made. And an instant is whatever an instant is, but it's available right here now. Can you see? You're when you make that decision, you're allowing yourself to cross that gap between the past and the present, which what is not a gap at all. Can you see? It's not a gap at all. You're not trapped here, but your mind, as a human being, according to the thinking of the world, is preoccupied with the past, right? And when you allow that shift to occur, you're entering into the present, the endless present, as he so beautifully puts it. And if you're in the present, that's the closest you can come to eternity in time, right? And then you see that there is no time. When you're completely present right here, right now, there is no time because all time is going on all the time, right here and now. Mm. And I don't mean that as a concept, I mean it as a true experience. Can you see? So that shift is what this aims to teach. Can you see? Because once you stay in the present, and once you are in the present and you stay there, that's the whole purpose. The time he chooses can be any time, for help is here, awaiting but his choice. We just talked about that. And when he chooses to avail himself of what is given him, right, everything is given you. You're not lacking anything. You're all you need to accomplish this is already given you. Can you see? All you need to accept who you truly are is already given you because what? You are already that in truth. I hope this makes sense. But it's truly that new way of thinking that where your mind just goes like, well, this cannot be because, can you see? You're allowing your mind to think differently. Hmm? I love this. And when he chooses to avail himself of what is given him, ready? Then will he see each situation that he thought before was means to justify his anger, what? Turn to an event which justifies his love. There is the whole shift in perception, right? Each event that you thought was upsetting you, right? Which, if you're in the world, there are many, correct? Every single day. Now is seen as something that justifies love, that justifies forgiveness, because that's the true perception of it. Because every situation is a lesson that God would have you learn. Every situation is a setup, if you will, that in a specific form allows you to learn the single lesson that you were sent here to learn. But it's preventing you in a myriad of forms until you recognize that every form and every situation has exactly the same content and is finally exactly teaching the same lesson. God's Son is guiltless. I'm whole and perfect. Right? None of this is so. Can you see? So, but it's over and over, right? It until you fully learn the lesson. I love that. So there's that shift in perception. It's only that thing that upset you, right? The person that upset you. I love how he says, and you've chosen him already. Right? You think of something that upsets you. You already know, right? He's right there. That's the guy you gotta forgive, because he's the one that'll set you free. So that one that used to be then your enemy now becomes your savior. Can you see? Forgive your enemies. Listen, this is the whole teaching. A Course in Miracles is a course in forgiveness. Can you see? He will hear plainly that the calls to war he heard before are really calls to peace. Beautiful, right? Um, What an amazing idea. Perception's basic law could just be said: you will rejoice at what you see because you see it to rejoice. That makes me smile. It makes me happy. For those of you who've come far along the practice of A Course in Miracles, when you read this, it makes you happy because your mind recognizes this as true and it lights up your mind. Can you see? It makes you happy. It's no longer like, hey, I'm trying to understand this from my conceptual mind. You can't understand this from your conceptual mind because it's not understandable from that perspective. Can you see? That shift needs to occur first. You need to practice this. But when that shift occurs, you this makes perfect sense. And while you think that suffering and sin will bring you joy, so long will they be there for you to see. Let that sink in for a moment. How long will you see suffering and sin, sin being another word for separation, until you no longer want to see it, until you no longer think that they will bring you joy? Can you see? Listen to this. Nothing is harmful or beneficent apart from what you wish. That's a tough one. Think about that. Let that sink in for a moment, because you do think that there are things out there harming you, right? Or things that are beneficent to you. And you got them all categorized, but from time to time you might change your mind about some of them. But all this says is no, that's the meaning you've given it, according to what you wish to be true. Love that. It is your wish that makes it what it is in its effect on you, right? But that's not what it truly is. It's all in your own benefit, right? Everything is in your own best interest. Huh? One of the lessons says you don't know what's in your own best interest, and he says, well, everything is in your own best interest. Everything is there for you to benefit from. Everything is there for you to learn from, right? And if you think about harm, right, you can only be hurt by your own thoughts, right? I can only be hurt by my own thoughts. These are the lessons that we learn. Can you see? And when you learn these, you know that that brings that shift about in you. It's like the moment you think something can hurt you, go like, no, wait, I can be hurt only by my own thoughts. It doesn't mean you intentionally start hurting yourself. It simply means this is how it is in truth. Can you see? I love this. You maker of a world that is not so. I'm sorry. These lessons make me happy. You maker of a world that's not so. Take rest and comfort in another world where peace abides. There is another world. Can you see? The first two lessons that in my awakening I started practicing and I was attracted to is the world I see holds nothing that I want, and there is another world that I want to see, right? And the two worlds do not meet is the next lesson. Can you see? There is a world that reflects the peace and the love of God, which is your true inheritance. But they're not different. It's just your perception of it, right? Till heaven and earth become one didn't mean that heaven and earth are separate and now they're one. It means that finally there was no separation, right? You're seeing everything from your own perspective. You're projecting your own anger out there and you see an evil world, and now you're forgiving it and you see a peaceful world, right? And I saw a new heaven and I saw a new earth. Why? You forgave it. Can you see? That's the invitation, right? Take rest and comfort in another world where peace abides, right? Change your mind. Forgive it. This world you bring with you to all the weary eyes and tired hearts that look on sin and beat its sad refrain. From you can come the rest. What a beautiful idea. From you can come the rest. Because as a teacher of God, as an awakening consciousness, right, you stand for the alternative. You're the reminder of what your brother has forgotten. He's forgotten who he is. He thinks this is real. He thinks there are things happening to him. And, well, right? Now, here you come and you bring him a different thought, right? Your thoughts demand his attention because the moment, you bring these thoughts with you, either the mind is going to be open to it or not, but you stand for the alternative. You're not joining him in the gap, if you will. You're not joining him in the illusion. You stand in your own certainty because you know that to be true, not because you've accepted a new set of concepts, because you're in the experience. And only the experience brings the conviction, can you see? That's your function as a teacher of God. That's your function as the light of the worlds, right? And it's a glorious function because all you're being asked is to be happy. Can you see? Even if you were not to say anything, your happiness and rest radiating from you itself is energy, is presence, is demanding, hey, why is he so happy? Why seems he's peaceful? Can you see? You are different in that particular um, mindset, in that particular image of yourself. Can you see? So that's your function. You've been given a function. This is what you signed up for. You're not here by accident. You're not trapped in this world. You have everything that you need to wake up right here now and accept your new glorious function for a moment on what you call Earth, right? At the end of time, in your own time association with yourself. Remember, time is not real, right? Time is an invention of your mind. And you simply accept that and radiate that, and it looks for you the way it will look for you, right? There, in form, it can look like anything. It doesn't necessarily look like the other guy. Hmm? In that sense, we each have our own plan. Um, it's an amazing idea. It's an amazing idea that as a Course in Miracles teacher, as an awakening consciousness, as a mind undergoing a physical transformation and spiritual transformation, your function, right, is equal to your happiness. Can you see? Once you start fulfilling that, you see that this is what makes you happy. You no longer need to be told to do that. You start getting happy stepping into your function. Okay, see, because it's the only thing that will make you happy. What that specifically looks like is irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. Hmm? It's it's the content. It's the function itself. Anyway, these are just a couple of lines. It's beautiful, right? I can keep reading, but this is just such an amazing idea that um, you have accepted that function. Um, how does he say, just to kind of wrap this up for today, how does he say, what's a teacher of God? What's the definition of a teacher of God? Remember? Teacher's Manual. Teacher of God is anyone who sees that his interests are not different than his brothers. They're the same. You want both are looking for the same thing. Can you see? You're not different. You both want the same thing. The moment he sees that, he's become a teacher of God. Can you see? That's the requirements. That's how you become a teacher of God. Somewhere you know that. Somewhere you know that the guy out there is exactly want the same thing as you do. Can you see? He love it. Thank you for joining me here today. What an amazing idea. It's everything. It's emotional, it's physical, it's spiritual, right? It happens, that transformation happens on a cellular level, doesn't it? Um it goes on 20. Once you start working the program starts working you. It goes on 24 hours a day, even in your sleeping dreams. Can you see? So those of you who are indeed in that transition, in that process of awakening, know this, right? It's not like you can just, oh, I'm going to do this an hour a day. No, once you start this, it works you. It cannot not, right? It's too late. You know? See, yeah, that makes me see how that makes me happy. I just, mm, lovely. Anyway, thank you for joining me here today. I truly, truly love you wherever and whenever you are, and I'll see you everywhere.